Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Bible Illustrated Hands. In the case you can't tell, this is calling of Saint Peter by his brother, Saint Andrew, telling him that he has found the promised one of Israel, the Messiah, the Christ. So today's question comes from Molasses. He or she asks, what do you think of Zoroastrians? I know there was a general rivalry between the Zoroastrian priesthood and Eastern Christians during the Sassanid Roman Wars. But after looking into it for the past year, I have found that Zoroastrian beliefs are quite virtuous, believing in living a life for good. Zoroastrians and Christians have a very similar beliefs in some aspects and have a lot of in common. I feel like Zoroastrians are almost on the path of truth, but just a bit off of it. Thanks. Thank you for your question, Molasses. When one of my first books on, I don't want to say spirituality, but astrology that I ever got was this book that my mom got for me. And this book not only dealt with the signs of the horoscope and divination and dream reading, it also dealt with some ancient mystics, and Zarathustra was one of them. And of all the people that were mentioned in that section, of which I only remember Paracelsus, I believe that is how his name is pronounced in English, who was a famous occultist. The part on Zarathustra was the most interesting one to me. The book also made references how Christianity and Zoroastrianism are similar, and it is true in a way, because Zoroastrianism, again, I apologize if I mispronounce it, does teach you virtue, and I must say that I was really, at the time, fascinated by the description of the good spirits representing virtue that surround Ahura Mazda, which is a good creative spirit, and the sinful evil spirits that surround Ahriman, who is a destructive evil spirit. Of course, the religion is very dualistic, even though it teaches the ultimate victory of good over evil. However, from what little I know of the religion, Ahura Mazda and Ahriman, again, these are very Serbian pronunciations of these deities, are much more on equal footing than Christian God and the devil, where the devil is simply a fallen angel and it can in no way, shape, or form ever match God, even though he tries, but keeps failing miserably, and that is why in the end he tempts us, because it is his petty vengeance against God, because he can do the Lord no harm. And while there are definite similarities of some Zoroastrian beliefs and Christianity, and to be quite honest, I'm not really aware of much commentary of the Holy Fathers on them. I have no doubt that the Fathers would see in this religion that they would see it in a way much similar to the way that they saw pagan philosophers of old, or the ancient Sibyl, as a way of the Lord somehow showcasing truth to the pagans without disclosing it too overtly, but enough of those religious amongst those people to recognize the fullness of truth when it comes. Of course, despite all of this, we do need to remember that after Christianity, this is still a pagan religion, even though it is not a polytheistic religion. Again, despite its monotheism, it is still it it still does you no good if you worship Ahriman or his evil spirits, which are, again, are akin to demons. So that's about it. There are a number of martyrs who were martyred by Zoroastrians. I can't think of any at the top of my head, but as I was reading the lives of the saints, I did notice a number of them, who were martyred by as the lives of the saints call them, fire worshippers, which is definitely how you would recognize them described in the lives of the saints. And that's about it. Again, I like the religion. When people ask me, what would you be if you weren't a Christian? Well, I like Zoroastrianism a lot, but again, it is not the truth, and I'm a Christian and an Orthodox Christian for a very specific reason, because I believe Christianity to be the fullness of truth of all the religions shown here on this fallen, sinful earth, So that's it. Nothing too special to say here. By the way, maybe I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I might as well. I will mention it at the beginning of the next one as well. Please say a prayer for the repose of an acquaintance of mine called Srdjan. He was a guy I knew back when I was much more into the nerdy scene of role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, and so on. We were never friends per se, but he was always a really positive guy, always happy-go-lucky. He has died a couple of days ago. He perished due to the coronavirus. I didn't know that he had diabetes, so he was one of the vulnerable groups. I'm very much bummed out about his death, because when you meet such happy people, you sort of feel like they can never go away, and then they do. So say a prayer for Srdjan, and pray for everyone. Bye.